the monster who was never wrong. The villagers asked the monster everything. They became wiser, and somehow nothing worked anymore. 1. Long ago in the mountains, there was a village. The people were not lazy. They were not foolish. They simply wanted to be right. And so they went to the monster in the cave. The monster was made entirely of knowledge. Every question had an answer. Crops, markets, conflict. It never hesitated. It was never wrong. The first year, the harvests were good. The second year, better. The monster made us wise, they said. 2. By the third year, something had changed. When it was time to plant, someone would say, "The monster said east." When choosing a water source, the monster said north. When a family needed to decide which house their daughter would marry into, the monster said that one. The meetings became very quiet. No one argued. No one disagreed, because everyone had asked the same monster and received the same answer. The village felt settled, but settled is not the same as alive. 3. Then the storm came. Crops flattened. Water turned dark. 3 houses collapsed before morning. The villagers gathered. They went to the monster. What do we do? The answer came, as always, complete. Replant the fields. Purify the water. Rebuild the houses. Everyone heard it. Everyone understood it. And no one moved. Because the answer belonged to everyone. It belonged to no one. Why be the first when someone else already knew what to do? 4. On the second night, a woman sat alone outside her damaged house. Her child had a fever. She had gone to the monster that morning. The answer was clear. Fetch clean water from the northern spring. She knew. Every person in the village knew. She looked toward the northern spring. The path was dark. The water was far. She thought, "Someone will go." On the third day, her child's fever rose. She looked around the village. Everyone was waiting for someone else who already knew the answer. 5. There was one man who had stopped visiting the monster years before, not out of stubbornness, not out of pride. He had simply noticed that every time he asked, he came home with the same answer as his neighbor. After the storm, he walked west, toward the land everyone called useless. The soil was difficult. The water was bitter. The ground sloped the wrong way. People had laughed at him for years. The monster never recommended the west. They said, "That's how you know it's wrong." 6. A season passed. The village rebuilt, slowly in pieces, each person waiting for another to move first. The man in the west had a quiet harvest, not because the land was better, because no one else had been certain enough to follow him. The uncertainty was the wall. When the villagers finally understood this, one of them said, "The monster was never wrong." Another replied, "No, that was exactly the problem." 7. Before the monster, the village had arguments. Loud ones, foolish ones, arguments that lasted too long and ended badly. But there were also different fields, different water sources, different futures, growing in different directions. The monster had not taken their freedom. It had taken something quieter, the need to decide, when no one else knew the answer. And without that need, something in them had slowly forgotten how. 8. The wisdom you carry today, is it yours, or is it the same answer held by 100 others who asked the same question? This morning, when something feels completely right, that certainty is information. It just may not be the information you think it is. 9. Today, make one decision, without asking. Not a reckless one, not a performative one. The one you already know the answer to, but have been waiting for someone else to confirm. Take it west, even if the ground slopes the wrong way. The best wisdom is not the answer the monster is most certain of. It is the answer no one else was willing to live with alone.